Yeah, I mean, it's like that's what I've just kind of heard. Like most pilots who do fly the Max, they're like they say, it's just it is a very safe airplane to fly for sure. But it just it has been under a lot of scrutiny. But is it do you just think maybe it's just like the media is kind of highlighting just the issues it has? Like it's just a quote unquote unlucky airplane as opposed to the others, or
Well, no, I mean there have been serious issues with it, and and rightly so. The media have focused on it, I think, and this is just my opinion. I cannot talk for my airline or anything else, because that's not my job. But I can give you my personal opinion, and the media have rightly focused on this because there have been some very serious, and tragic
mm,
issues with this. Um, Now, has there been a lot of has there been a lot of fact checking? No. Has there been a lot of sensationalizing this? Yes.
yeah,
It's a great thing for a news cycle to talk about. Yes, it is. But the truth is that they should be highlighting this because it has tragically involved many families with these, especially the early accidents, and so rightly so, the manufacturers needed to get in and fix this.
yeah,
I'm glad that the regulators all kind of agreed, and that this was fixed and put right before the airplane was put back into the air. Um, and so I think um, as a result of that, you wonder whether people would want to fly on the Max again. And I did wonder that, to be honest. I'm somebody, knowing from the inside and how the systems work, I was very comfortable that this was a safe airplane. It was nice to be armed with the knowledge that that we know how to deal with that same situation. Our industry is built on learning. We're always learning. We incidents happen, and if we do nothing about it, then we're failing ourselves and everybody that we fly. But if we learn from it, then we're continuing to improve, and that's all we can do. And so that has to be the emphasis. And so for me, I was very comfortable that I understood the incidents that happened early on, and I was comfortable that how to deal with those incidents. We all went through additional training to make sure that we were comfortable with this, and we were given simulated time to recreate as many of these things as we needed to, which I think was a really good thing. And so yeah, it's a real shame, because the airplane itself is a really nice airplane. It's nice to fly. It's very stable. It's very quiet for the passengers, and it's a good airplane. It's very efficient. The engines themselves, which I guess indirectly caused this problem. The fact that Boeing needed these engines because they were so good.
yeah,
Airbus didn't have the issue. I flew the Airbus before. I flew the Airbus with these new engines, with the LEAP engines, and they didn't have the ground clearance problem that the Boeing had. It was pure luck, maybe,
yeah,
but one that Airbus, I'm sure, was very happy about. So they didn't have this problem. Boeing had to really do a lot of thinking about how to solve this problem. Boeing is a good company. That these aerospace companies are producing a product. Embraer, Airbus, Boeing,
yeah,
all of these people are producing a product that has a lot of engineering put into them to solve problems. Boeing had to solve this problem um, quite quickly, because otherwise they would lose a massive amount of market share to Airbus. They had to have these engines. They're stupidly efficient, compared to the older technology, which again is where we're trying to improve. We're improving as an industry. But I guess as part of that, there were mistakes made, and those mistakes with the right circumstances led to these accidents. And for me, yes, you could, I can watch the news, but that doesn't tell me anything. I want to try and understand,
Yeah.
and and really get to grips with what's going on with this airplane. And I'm comfortable with it. I understand when people are in the back of the airplane that you relinquish control to somebody when you sit in the back of an airplane. I understand that. I really do. Um, uh, and so the only thing I can say is that the passengers that I fly, I want them to be comfortable, that we're comfortable flying. And that's where we've got to now. We've had tragic incidents, we've had unfortunate incidents, and anytime these days that you say the word max,
Yeah.
the media go crazy because now they've got things to talk about. It's another max problem, and
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable, but the truth is, and the reality is that it's a good airplane, and I like to fly it. It's a I would imagine I will be flying one tomorrow, and it's
Yeah. Yeah, like even in India here, many of the airlines are like going, they're like placing huge orders for the Max. Like even Air India is. There's another new airline called Acosta Air. They even want like they've made a lot of purchases of the Max. So yeah, it is. It's definitely becoming a very popular airplane here as well. So
yeah, and it's because, well, it's a good airplane, and let's be honest, it's cheap.
yeah,
Compared to if you and I ran an airline and we looked at the what's on offer. We need some airplanes. We need to put about 150 to 200 people in to make this efficient, because we need to run our airline and make a profit. Otherwise, we'll be closed down. And so, what are we going to buy? If you get a heavy jet, that's massively expensive. So a 737 or an Airbus a narrow body is a great option for us. The 321 Neo is expensive. It's the next, technology wise, it's more technologically advanced. And so you pay for that. Even small things like, it has three IRSs instead of two. Do you need three IRSs? This one does. The other one doesn't. It's a difference in the philosophy of the two companies. The Airbus is fly by wire. The that's technology that costs money, but that's Airbus's philosophy to produce their jets, and they I'm sure believe and stand behind their. This is what people want to fly on. That's meant that Airbus have a massive backlog, I'd imagine, of orders. If we ordered one today, we probably wouldn't get it for a few years. We How are we going to operate this? With the Max, same thing. They're different philosophies. They're very much their ideal is that you've got pilots flying the airplane, and we have it's created around an airplane with added technology, the technology that we need to operate the airplane. So two FMSs, two IRs, and some backup systems. But basically, it's a simple airplane, easy to maintain. It's not electronic boxes necessarily. It's more mechanical components, and so there's a philosophy that way. Not saying that either one is as better or as good as each other. It's just two philosophies. But what that does mean is that the Max is a little cheaper. Um, now, so we might get it quicker. Um, with And I hate to say this, I would imagine that because of the negative press that has come from the issues with the Max, that the Max Boeing needs to sell the Max, and so it's probably much cheaper. We can probably get discounts if we go and buy the Max now over joining a waiting list to buy some Airbuses. And so I think this is basically just, it's just economies at the moment. It's just the way it is at the moment. And so I'm not surprised that newcomers to the market, and even established carriers, like Air India, who need to replace their narrow body airplanes, it's probably financially it's a better decision to buy a whole bunch of Maxes over waiting for a whole bunch of Airbus Neos. That's just my impression. I have no idea about this. This is
Yeah,
purely my speculation, but
yeah.
that's probably the truth. It's probably close to the truth.